I spoke at a conference a few years ago about finding balance between your work, relationships, and yourself. Some models break relationships and family into two separate categories or inner and outer circle, but I prefer just having the three: work, relationships, and self. In my talk, I challenged common ideas about work-life balance. The idea of trying to find balance assumes that focusing on one area necessarily takes away from the other areas. Some who talk about work-life balance have suggested it might not be possible to thrive in all areas of life at once, and that we go through seasons. While there's definitely a finite amount of time and you can't be in two places at once, I don't believe the rest of life is some kind of zero-sum game. I can't prove that, but a theory I'm trying to live from is that each of the three areas of your life can enhance the others. When you take care of yourself, you do better work. When you find purpose and fulfillment in your work, you can give more to the people you love. When you enjoy deep and meaningful relationships with people, you want to take better care of yourself. They're all connected. You've probably experienced the give and take between work, relationships, and self. I think most of us actually do experience life as a zero-sum game, which is why I think there's so much advice out there about how to achieve balance. So does that mean the zero-sum theory is true? As my kids have grown and discovered work they're interested in, like making stop-motion movies, designing video games, being professional YouTubers, I felt compelled to be an example of what a balanced life could look like. This led me to question common ideas about balance. All of my questions ultimately came down to this one: is it possible to thrive and grow in every area of your life at the same time? I believe it is. I'm still growing in my personal understanding, but there are three ideas I've embraced as a path to balance. 1. Always be working toward at least one goal in each area of your life. Most of us already do this to some extent. I think where it gets tricky is when goals seem to conflict. Can you have a goal of spending 1 hour a day playing with your kid and visiting 5 different countries for work? You can if your kid goes with you. Then the question becomes, how do we make that a reality? I love the idea of turning "I don't see how we could do that" to "let's find out how we can do that." And the second idea: give yourself better rewards. I think this is the crux of why we feel out of balance. We tend to seek rewards that seem to meet our needs but drain or deplete us in other ways, like watching Netflix for an hour with your partner versus sitting down and having a conversation. We make hundreds of choices throughout our day between things that fill our bellies and things that provide real nourishment. This idea is the most difficult to live out because the lesser rewards look so good and are so abundant. There's nothing wrong with watching Netflix or eating fast food or working long hours, but if I'm being real with myself, I can't point to those things and say, this is my best shot at growing and thriving, or I tried my best but found that balance was impossible. And number 3, time is limited, but you are not. Many of us have been taught a version of what we're capable of by people who raised us, our history, and our culture that is false and far below our true potential. We've actually been taught to believe in scarcity and limits. I'm constantly working to shift to an abundance mindset that believes there's more than enough to go around, that I can provide immeasurable value outside of myself, and that my potential is only limited by my imagination, or put another way, unlimited. So have I achieved balance? I think that's the wrong question. Here are some better ones. Am I fulfilling my purpose? Am I creating value? Am I challenging myself? Am I striving to live up to my potential? Am I working toward my goals? I believe balance is not something to be achieved, but is a byproduct of focusing on those things. I believe it's something we can experience as we change our beliefs about what is possible, seek better rewards for ourselves, and work toward our goals.